Hello and welcome back. Quick fix. I don't know if you noticed, but in my weather service here I had this was misspelled. I think it was latitude, something like this. This was spelled like this, and this is why I had um, Chula as my as my current position. That's a mistake. It was supposed to be latitude. And here it is. So yeah, this is my current position, and this makes much more sense because we're in winter right now and I feel cold. So as you can see, I changed my HTML a little. I added a form. Uh, you can pause and copy this if you want. And what we're going to do here now is uh, being able to put a name here and get all the data, and this is going to change automatically as we submit our form. So to create forms in Angular 2, there are two ways. There's the template-driven approach and the data-driven approach. I'm going to teach you both in this series, but for this example, I'm going to use the template-driven one. So in order to form, it's already Angular 2 already recognizes form as pretty much as a tag or selector or directive that is going to be using. So what we need to do is give it like form controls. And let's say if I had more of this inputs, I would have to put a form control for, let's say, uh, I don't know, if you had a regular form where you have to put your name, last name, date of birth, phone number, and stuff like that. For each of them, you have to put a control. And this is easily done in Angular 2 by using the directive ng model. So, but this is not the only thing we're going to need. Uh, we're going to need to connect this this directive to something. In order to do that, we just have to give this input field a name. So we're gonna give it a name of city. Okay, so now input is binding city and is gonna send its data to Angular 2. To do that, we're going to have to create we're going to create a function, and here we're going to use our ng submit directive. Here we're going to pass a function that is going to be called on submit. But we need to pass something here because we're using the data-driven approach. So we're sending all the data from our form to our component .ts file. So we need to kind of like bind it. And a way to do it is we're going to create a variable in our HTML. And the way you do it is you're going to use the pound sign. Let's call this form or f. And this is going to be equal to ng model. And inside here, we're going to pass form. All right. So we're going to come to our component and create this onSubmit function. And here we need to pass something. So remember, because we have a parameter here in our ng submit. So what we're going to use is going to be called, we're going to call this weather form. and this is going to have a class of ngForm. Now ngForm has to be imported. We need to import it from Angular forms. Now we need to see, let's console log and see what this gives us. Weather form. So let's save both of these files and refresh our page. Oh, there's a mistake. Oh, sorry, this is not an ng model. This is an ng form. There you go. Now let's throw a name. Let's put a name of the city. Let's put Seattle. And we submit it. And look at this. We have our ng form over here. And we're going to have all of these attributes that you can find by trial and error. You can find what does this do. We have dirty attribute. This means that our form has been has a value in it. Submitted is going to be true because we already sent it. So you can find like you can put some logic like if weather form that submitted do something. What we're going to look is for value, and here we have object, and it has a property of city. Where is this coming from? It's coming from our name city that we have in our input field. So how are we going to use this with our application? Well, if we come to our API and open weather map, we go to current data. We're going to look for the weather using city. And as you can see here, this is how you call it. You're going to have the weather API, and you're going to have the queue in London. Whereas in our other way to call it, we had the weather, we had the latitude and longitude. This one is going to be a lot more simpler because we only need to pass one parameter. So let's create our service. So here we're going to create a service that is going to be called another city weather. You can be as specific as you want with your name of functions. I would recommend that you are because when you're working in a bigger project, you're not going to be working alone, and people need to understand what their functions are, what everything is doing. Because if you put something like A or B, and I know this is hypocritical because I've been using WS as one of my services when I'm calling them, then this can generate confusion. Anyway, so let's go back here. Here we're going to have a parameter, that is going to be city name. This is going to be a type string. And here we're going to return this HTTP that get, and we're going to use this parameters. So as you saw earlier, everything is pretty much going to be the same as in getting my current position, getting my coordinates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this. I'm going to copy this URL, put it here, change samples for API, and then instead of London UK, we're going to pass a variable city, and then we're going to copy our key, and remember that we need to pass units, and we're using imperial to get Fahrenheit. Again, we're going to map this, and here we pass a response of type response, like we're doing here, but I'm not going to turn this into a promise. I'm just going to give this a response.json. And now we are going to come to our component. Perfect. We don't need this anymore. So here we're going to call part of this WS, and we're going to call our another city weather function or method. And here we need to pass the weather form. Remember that we're going to navigate from our weather form. Since this is an object, we're going to navigate to our value. And from our value, we need to navigate to city. All right, so here we're going to subscribe to this, and we're going to pass data function, and we can console.log data. All right, so let's save all of this. Okay, so now let's console log. We're going to console log the data. So now we put Seattle again. And you can see I have calling this down, have the name of the city, Seattle, and I'm going to have weather, light rain. What a surprise. Let's put another city. Let's put somewhere that is we know it's summer. Let's put Sydney. Have Sydney, Australia, and clear sky. The temperature, I'm pretty sure, is quite hot. 88, not that bad. Oh my god, I'm jealous. Okay, so just as we did in the other how we populated the data for our current location, we need to call again to this, my weather. There's going to be a new weather, new current weather, sorry. And we're going to pass again 6. You know what? I feel lazy. I'm just going to copy everything I have in my service all the way to here. And yeah, cool. I have everything here. Now I save this and let's see if this works. All right, so let's put another city. Let's put Chicago. Okay, as you can see, everything changed here. Now let's look for another city. Let's look for Cairo in Egypt. Well, it's not that hard. Let's look for let's look for another city. Change of let's go for London. Perfect. As you can see, everything is working perfectly. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. If you like what you're seeing so far, please subscribe. This is my first tutorial series, so if you have any suggestions or if you like me to cover other things, let me know. For the next couple of videos are going to be how to build the forecast, but that's not going to be hard at all. Okay, well, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.